host the event Pearls Address November edition. Honorable guest Dr. Prabhas Aravind, a renowned psychiatrist, respected CEO Kuryakos sir, Mr. Jason, Chairman of Shalom School Palakkad, Miss Anita, Principal of Shalom School, Miss Malavidi, Principal of the Rajas International School Nagakoil, Mr. Tito, Principal of Syrian Jacobite Public School Tiruvalla, Mr. Johnson, Principal of the Rajas International School Kottayam, and dear teachers, a very good afternoon to you all. Coming together is beginning. Keeping together is progress, but working together is success. This mantra is absolutely right when we teachers gather here for being empowered. This is our second gathering. The first one was led by an academician, Ms. Rita Prasad. At this moment, I am highly obliged to welcome today's resource person, Dr. Prabhas Aravind, MBBS, MD, a psychiatrist. He has been practicing for many years now as a consultant psychiatrist in Valvanad Hospital, Ottapalam, and Shalom Care and Cure. He is very keen in addressing one of the greatest problems of today, stress and strain that lead to depression. He has been very successful in giving solace to many people who suffer from schizophrenia, addiction, and mood swings. He is the right person to address us during this pandemic. Dear sir, I extend hearty welcome to you. I cordially welcome all the dignitaries and my colleagues to Pearls Address. In today's session, we discuss constraints and challenges for teachers during pandemic. Now, without further ado, we'll turn the time over to our honorable guest, Dr. Prabhas Aravind. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's a real big honor for me to be part of this session, and I thank everyone who are actually meeting with this meeting. To begin, I must say express my extreme thankfulness to all those people who has gathered, the teachers. It's a real pleasure talking to the special population of our country. I always loved teaching. When I was a student, I must say that I was a good student. Not saying that I was the best student. I was actually good in studies, and I was not so much of a troublesome child. So probably they also loved me. And my best teachers, I met them. What I was speaking was my teachers, not my teachers. My dearest Geeta teacher, and I had a few other teachers who taught me chemistry, mathematics. My dearest Nandakumar sir, other teachers of my school. I will never forget that. What I just want to, before talking to teachers, it's my pleasure to remind them, to acknowledge them also. That's why I talked about it. Okay, I'm coming to the topic. Per se, constraints and challenges for teachers during this pandemic. This is the topic of discussion for today. So, this Sanskrit sloga, which might be very familiar to most of the people. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Meaning, the word Guru itself in Sanskrit is originated from two words. Gu means darkness, and Ru means remover. So Guru is actually the remover of darkness. That is the real meaning. So Guru Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara are the three deities of Indian mythology. They are called the Tridevs. The Brahma is concerned with creation. Vishnu is concerned with maintenance of creation, and Maheshwaran or the Lord Shiva is concerned is the destroyer or the person who changes the situation. So Guru is actually given importance like the all these three deities. Meaning, Guru is the creator of knowledge. He is also the sustainer of knowledge, and he is also the destroyer of darkness. That is the point. So doing all these things equals Guru equal to that of the Almighty. That is why he is also called as the Parabrahma. So I go before the great Guru. That is the meaning of this verse. It is actually being cited during the period of Guru Purnima. Last Guru Purnima was celebrated on the July 24th. It is a usual custom every year. It comes around the period in the month of July. So what I was trying to say is, Guru, the ancient mythology of the Indian culture, has given ultimate or the most important role for Guru. He is a complete person. He does not make mistakes. He is a person who should be copied. That is what the people during that time, and that is how people considered Guru was. So, but all these situations has changed with time and tide. Everything has changed, and with the encroachment of many other civilizations also, the culture has intermixed, and now that the profession of teacher has changed a lot from the older Guru. A teacher can make mistakes. Doesn't mean that he should not make mistakes, definitely, but he's not equivalent to Guru. That is what people consider. It is equivalent to any other job. That's what. Like the doctors. Once upon a time, doctors were considered as similar to the god. They give life and all. But now you know how society sees a doctor, how they treat a doctor. It's a totally different thing. I am not blaming anyone. It happens over a period of time. Lot of things happen, and that is why, and that has happened into the profession of teaching also. That's what I was trying to. That's my point. So when the older gurus changed to the newer teacher, there were a lot of changes. A lot of changes happened to the mindset of the people as well as the teachers itself. They like people like you and me started getting into the profession. So a professional has something like he builds his career over a period of time. It might not be like from the first day he might be doing his best. He might acquire his existence or his knowledge over a period of time while doing his work. So that is the actual meaning of a professional. Teaching is just another professional like a doctor. With experience, you mature, you ripen. That is what happens. So similarly, everybody was trying to improve. I must say, for the pre-COVID era, everybody was trying to, at least they were trying to settle with what they were given. I mean, people had a lot of difficulties even during the pre-COVID time era, but somehow we survived that time, and we were leading a real life. It doesn't mean that we were having the perfect life, but somehow we could manage. Suddenly, when everything changed, when one morning over a period of time, well, I must say that the coronavirus infection started in China in the last November. It's around 1 year. We celebrated the anniversary of corona infection last week. So once the corona wreaked havoc in our lives, nobody could escape either from the corona infection directly or because of the lockdown it has brought upon us. No individual, I think, has escaped from that big calamity. Somehow, one way or the other, we had our own problems. We developed. We had to be inside our home. That was the biggest problem. We never thought that sitting inside our home was such a big problem until we started doing that without any job, without any enough money for ourselves, or to needed enough for family. It was a real trouble. Everybody might have experienced that. It brought a lot of despair. We were in a state of panic. Panic means an extreme state of anxiety. We lost our confidence. Future looked very bleak to us. We were very negative or pessimistic. So what happened after that? What were happening over this period of time? I must say that if this is brought into psychiatry, I'll explain it in a different version. This chart, this is called stages of grief, which was described by an American Swiss psychiatrist, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She said about this thing about the grief. Grief means when a person dies or when a close ally of ours is lost, the people around him or people close to him experiences a lot of troubles. It has been staged, it has been described in certain stages. Initial period is called as the denial, which is the person or the people around him always tries to deny that such a thing has ever. Because the media and the newspapers and all the influence of social media had occurred, this grief thing doesn't happen for us. I'm comparing grief with that of the sudden involvement, sudden coming up of this corona infection and the lockdown. Denial doesn't happen to us because it doesn't came in as a sudden shock. It came as this. We heard about the cases in China first, then it started spreading into the Europe and the United States. Then the cases start coming to us. So initially, it was not that prominent for us. But then the next stage is the stage of anger outbursts. We saw that we were extremely angry towards the Chinese people. A lot of emotions, a lot of even processions we saw against China, saying anti-Chinese slogans and all. And after China, we might be remembering about that family in Pathanamthitta. Some family, they came from, they had actually COVID infection and they were blamed for spreading the COVID infection a lot. So there is this stage, the anger stage. I know because after that family, then other people came to the limelight, like the industrial workers. They were making all those problems and they were not spreading corona and all. So anyway, that stage was me. But the next stage is called the depression. When suddenly realized we have an opportunity to come to us also. We lost that self-confidence. We became dull, we became desperate, we were sad. We started bargaining for that if we do some sort of protections or we try some ways, can we get protected from corona? When is this vaccine coming up? All those things were going through our head during this period. But suddenly it's not going to, it's not coming in a very fast way. For every vaccine it will take some time. The fastest vaccine might be for this corona infection. I think in history never a vaccine has been produced this fast. Within a year they had tried to make a vaccine. I don't know how much efficacy. That's a different story. But finally we started to accept that the corona infection is not going so soon and we will have to live with that. So that is how we can this grief thing can be compared with how we also had this grief and how we are coming out of the grief. So how effectively we come out of the grief will make us, will help us will help us the confidence to grow in us. So these things, I just want to make a comparison with how this situation can be described in a psychiatric perspective. So once we started accepting about corona infection, we lost our negativeness a bit at least. We started thinking about our future, our next generation, our the future, the children. Definitely, they are the generation. They are going to drive us. So initial shock actually is a real trouble for everyone. It causes a real. It brought us a real new situation. That is it's a novel situation. We never had experience. We never had experience of keeping us quiet, keeping us inside our homes for this long. So when suddenly when this new situation struck us like a fireball, we got inside our home. We don't have an option. It was a very difficult situation for everyone. So we had a problem with adjusting to this new situation. It created a lot of adjustment disorders. Being a psychiatrist, I am one person who could actually see such a lot of cases. My practice has increased. I would say that the number of new cases has increased a lot. At least 20% increase in cases was visible. Not only in my OP. I talked to a lot of psychiatrists, my practice colleagues. Everybody was saying similar things. So the new situation, that is what I want to highlight. The new situation has got a lot of stress in us. But there are a lot of people who cope with the new situation, and they had come up with fewer strategies that actually make them better equipped for dealing with this sort of stress. So likewise, when after we are coming out of this corona, we internet helped a lot during this time. You all might be knowing. Till then, internet was not watched as a very good thing. Probably many people see that in the rural community and all, people see internet only for chatting and for watching porn. I'm not saying. I mean, this is happening. This is the way people see at this thing. They never look at the positive sides of this. So what happened was, internet helped a lot to come closer when we were not able to go outside and talk to our friends. We could chat, we could talk to them, we could video chat. It's a good side of the usage of internet. And online classes, online shopping, online doctors, everything has become online. So that is also a new thing. That is also a new problem for us. If it is watched in that aspect, it is a problem. Watched as a better thing, it is likewise. So what finally is, definitely it is a new situation for everybody. So naturally, the children being the focus, teachers will definitely be the limelight also. So what happens after that? They have to face this new situation. They are the first people to be evaluated with this situation. So they had to make their own amendments, changes, so that it ends well. So I must say that whatever I am describing is from the perspective of a doctor. He might not be giving a complete picture of the real problems of the teacher. So what I did was, I actually inquired with a few of my teacher friends, my colleagues. I searched internet, and these are few of the problems which I understood as the major problems. I expect you people to have a total discussion. So after that, if I missed any, I might be able to give or provide an approach at least to your problems to solve them. So please be involved. I mean, get into the discussion also after I finish my talk. So what I found the major problems are, many of the time, most of the time, how to take a class through internet, especially for a new guy, I mean, especially when it was never experienced, is a real challenge. And how they might be thinking, how children might be seeing these videos and all, videos or online classes, everything. Especially those older children, they might not be very fond of seeing videos and studying or doing homework out of them. So that is one problem that I saw. Then how is a teacher be able to care for this many number of people, this many number of students, while seeing through this small computer screen. That's a real problem. The class includes good bright students and also the naughty, warm and or the cold children also. So they might need extra attention, which might not be, which could not be easily provided through the computer screen. So, and the other questions include how will the children convey their doubts to the teachers if at all they got some. And all those teachers, they have to spend extra hours creating this video, this new way of style. It's making a big toll on their life. They had their own life. They were carrying on their own life. They were doing their they were managing their family. But suddenly, when this COVID struck, they had to work extra hours. They had to do a lot of extra things. That is a big problem for them. And the most important things are coming in the last part. Actually, many of the teachers were not very familiar with this online things and the computer sort of things, how to manage videos, how to make videos, how to make PowerPoints and all. So that itself is a real stressor for many of the teachers. And being in India, we might be knowing, even before I start my talk, there was a small glitch, technical glitch. So the availability of internet, the TV, mobile, all these things will make a lot of problems to the teachers as well as the students. And how about the timing of the classes? Like whatever time teachers propose, the parents they have their own. They were doing their own activities. They were doing their own work, job, everything. How are they going to manage their children during this time? So the timing of the classes were also very important. So there were lots and lots of such questions which started to arise during this period. So what do we do? That is a problem. That is the main thing of this. Thinking about all these problems, you might be knowing more problems than what I do. Actually, the answer is I don't know. So first thing is just relax. Relax. I just want to say that I'm relaxed. Why? Because while during my PG days, we had a psychologist. Her name was Lakshmi. She's a practicing psychologist somewhere in Kollam. She used to say this word, relax. That extra length itself will make us a bit relaxed. That's what I think. Anyway, the point is, if we get panicked during this point, due to all these problems coming to our head, we are never going to solve this problem. Definitely, we all know that. If we set into the panic mode, you might be knowing about the nervous system in detail, like the autonomic nervous system and central nervous system. Central nervous system makes the major role in taking decisions. It plays a major role in cognition. Autonomic nervous system has a side. The path is not in the direct, but it has influence on the central. So when we get panic, what happens? We sweat, we develop palpitation, we develop uneasiness, we might not be able to concentrate, we might not be able to focus and all. So what is happening? The panic, the autonomic nervous system might spoil our decision-making capacity. That is the point. So the panic is not going to solve the problem. If we start relaxing, we can develop a problem-solving approach. What I have said is just a problem. I'm not going to give an answer for that because I might not be having the perfect answer. Actually, there is no perfect answer for anything. It is all subjective. A person's perfect solution might not be the perfect solution for another person or from another person's perspective. But the best possible solution, for that best possible solution will be naturally be glorified as the perfect solution. So if we need to get a perfect or a near perfect solution or the best possible solution, we need to develop a problem solving approach. So for that, to develop a problem solving approach, we need to know that we have got a problem. What is the problem? Is that the coronavirus? It is the thinking, it is our attitude. Problem is, before coronavirus infection also, we had all this anxiety, everything is inside us. Everybody is anxious. Anxiety is actually a natural, normal trait. If we see a snake, we should either fight or flight. If we stuck up at that point, it might bite. So anxiety is actually a natural way to protect protect us. So what I was saying was, when we get anxious, our problem solving skills will be lost. That is what. So we have to find why are we actually anxious? That is why are we anxious? We were actually used to the older situation. We were very adamant. We wanted to continue with the older situation. So when suddenly we were not given any other option but to change, we developed anxiety. So that is what the real culprit is. Not that the coronavirus. Definitely, coronavirus has brought a lot of stress-related stressors into the society by decreasing the methods of relaxation, the financial losses, everything the corona has definitely brought on us. But at that time, why the real anxiety which we feared started coming up? That is our real problem. If we identify that it is our real problem, how did we can manage it? So to understand our problem, we should just look back into our older years when we first started our career as a teacher or as a doctor. We might have experienced all those problems, like how are the students seeing us, how will the other teachers look upon us, or how the headmaster will be monitoring us. Everything we had actually experienced. I'm saying that we means I also was a part-time teacher when I had worked as a senior resident. During that time I was a part of faculty, so I also had experience with teaching just for a few months. But I'm saying that the teaching is also like seeing a teacher, you can say that whether he is very confident. So while teaching, I was also analyzed and I was also evaluated. So, but over years we developed a skill by which we could convince our students, teach them. By our period, we developed that confidence. So that is being broken. That is being disturbed by this corona situation. So that is what the real problem is. So the first problem is we should identify first the problem step in problem solving approach is find our real problem and try to solve it. And remember, definitely when the going gets tough, you know that only the tough gets going. It's a real good word to keep it in mind. So we were walking through all these years teaching and doing our work. Initially we were anxious, but over a period of time we gained experience. We taught a lot of people. We asked doubts to others. We gathered knowledge somehow or the other, and all those experience will definitely give us confidence. That is the point. So if we see constraints or the challenges, it can be seen as a part of the coin, the both sides of the coin. It can be an opportunity. That's what. For example, I'll say my own example. Once the corona started, it was a real trouble for everyone. I was not also I was not this cool that day. When on 23rd night, this lockdown was declared by our Prime Minister. It was a real shock for me because I was working in my hospital for the last 6 years. I never, because there was a hospital canteen, I got food from there, and I had other sources of food for me. So I never bothered about cooking. Why I should care? I was enjoying my living here alone. My family is taken. So I was living, I was idling all my time. But then when Corona suddenly came, all the hospitals, all the hotels were closed. I don't have an option for food. So, and beyond that, the stress of treating patients and Corona, what did I do? What I have done was, I thought I quit my job. I asked my management, I said that I'm taking leave for 10 days. After that, I will come and do something. But while leaving on that night of 23rd, I was not planning to come back. I just want to stay somewhere quiet with my family so that Corona will come and go without harming me. But then, 1 or 2 days, I just enjoyed with my family. It was fine. My wife is also a doctor. She did not get leave during that time. She went to the hospital. She was working during that time. But then I started thinking, what if I continue doing this? What will happen to my family? Who is going to provide for me? So then I started thinking, I looked around us. Everybody was in the same situation. Who is free from Corona? Everybody is having the same trouble. Everybody is anxious about Corona. Everybody is fearful about the financial situation. So then I thought, finally I found out that it's not the Corona, it's the fear that is actually inside me that is responsible for it. The 7th day I came back, I cancelled my leave. I started again my practice. I got into my hospital. And surprisingly, number of patients was never moving the lower side. It started rising. So if I had taken leave, that is a loss of an opportunity. I was actually picking up a good practice, and if I make a big break in my career, that is definitely going to harm my career. But the second thing I did was I started cooking my own food. That was a real thing, a good thing for me. I started making a lot of things. I started watching the internet. I started preparing a lot of things. That is a real achievement for me. It didn't stop from there. I started seeing patients through online consultation. I never did that. My wife was always trying to see patients through online, so that it is actually a very good thing for the people also. It's very difficult for many a times now. Psychiatric patients are not very keen to come to the doctors. So for them, online consultation is a real boon. But I never entertained that till that day. Then I started seeing patients through online consultation. So, and the fourth thing, the most important thing, I never had talked before people because I was very shy. I started doing talks, and this is one such talk after that. So I'm very happy. The bottom line is, I improvised myself. I learned from my problems. I made a problem-solving approach, and I could do a lot to come out of it. I'm not saying that I'm a hero. I'm saying from my experience, I could do that. If I could do that, everyone could do that if you try. So that is the attitude. The attitude definitely matters the most important. The teachers are actually the drivers of the next generation. Their attitude will be copied by the children. So if a teacher has a pessimistic, negative attitude, that will be copied by the children. So if a teacher gives energy to the pupil, they acquire the same way. Their thinking process will be copied by that. So the best thing I say is the change of attitude. Try to become positive. It's not that easy. I'm not saying that it's a simple thing. But if you learn from a mistake, try to learn from our mistakes by this problem solving method, you'll definitely be a better person. And relax and do the thinking. If we are relaxed, our autonomic nervous system will not interfere much in our role of the central nervous system in making our thinking process. Plan every day. Every day is important. Every day should be planned perfectly and work hard. You don't have a choice for that. You have to work. And if you do together, definitely we are going to make this world a better place. So that's good. This is what I want to talk about. That I might have missed a lot of points. That's what I want to say. I said about if you could enlighten me with your problem, I might be able to provide some sort of solutions. Might not be always, but at least I can provide an approach for solving the solution. That's all. Thank you a lot for hearing me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights and suggestions. And you showed us certain positive aspects of this pandemic. Thank you very much. And my dear teachers, it's time for discussion. And if you feel anything to be clarified, please feel free to ask.
Yes, please.
Sir, I'm Johnson. Sir, I would like to have a query with you, a word with you. In general, our teachers enjoy the classes in the proximity of the students. When the students are there with them, they enjoy the class because they get the feedback, they can train them well. In virtual classes, all these things are not very much possible. Sometimes students are not in the class. Due to net connectivity problems, they are not able to attend. We don't know exactly what happens also. At the same time, they will be under the pressure from the management that classes should be engaged very well. So naturally, teachers are getting stressed. What tips do you have to give us?
Thank you, sir. That was a good question. At least somebody was there to ask something. I'm very happy. What I was trying to explain was that this definitely was inevitable for us. It was not that we choose for the virtual classes and all. We don't have another option. That is the main point. So there will be such situations, and I think at least for a part of children that is paying a good, that is doing good also. But definitely the feel good of a teacher might be definitely if the children might be facing not in a virtual world, in a real world, and asking doubts. So definitely we are not able to provide. Now it is not a situation for asking for that. So the situation has changed. It's not the older situation. The newer thing, we have to cope with that. Definitely we don't have a choice because getting infection, corona infection, and having trouble with that might be a better problem, more difficult problem than having a class in this sort. But definitely there will be a stress from the management side. Yeah, I can understand. But if I say that if there was no pressure at all from the management, what will you be doing? There is something called as U stress, EU stress, which is called as the good stress which drives us forward. If there is no U stress, it is also a less driving thing. We might not be having a real target. We might not be focused on. So we need a U stress, but it should not be a distress. Distress is a disturbing form of stress. So the skill lies in making the balance between these. It depends upon each and every person has a different way of handling pressure. But definitely, if you work hard, you can make changes. The initial stress, definitely, as I said, initially everything new might produce a real stress. But with time, with experience, we gather strength to deal with that such sort of stress. So definitely, if you work hard, definitely this might not be affecting you for long. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, excuse me, let me add one thing to it. I didn't mean all the management is giving pressure, but there will be some unnamed pressure from the part of the teachers themselves. That they think that they are not able to the goal they set already. That's what I meant. And you have given me the actual picture and explanation, sir. Thank you so much.
Hello, doctor. This is Mithun Kumar from TRIS Nahakoil. So this is doctor. I myself a computer teacher, but since due to inevitable reasons, now machine is the medium through which we teach. So even before this COVID, pre-COVID, I was a bit apprehensive about usage of machines. For instance, no, you don't get a joke when somebody says a joke, but people are looking at a screen and they were laughing. Okay, it's okay. But my question is that if at all it is going to be a long run, they are saying second wave is coming whatsoever. But if at all it is going to be a long run, then obviously this online class is going to be there. So this kind of machine learning how far it have an impact on students, mainly on psychology, their physical, their development, stuff like that. No, so if at all it is going to be a long term, what would be its impact? Thank you.
Thank you. Nice question. So your point is very valid, but the problem is we don't know how it's going to end. This is actually a new situation. We never had an experience of this sort of situation. You might have heard about the pandemic in the last century, 1980, the flu pandemic. But the data during that time was totally inadequate. That's what I was. So we cannot compare what happened 100 years from now and what is happening right now. So as you said, if this is going to be running for some long time, it will have its impact. It might be a different picture, but for that to know, we have to follow up after that. We have to finish that period, and only then we should evaluate, and then only we can say that how much impact it has brought. I will say from some few examples. Exercises, definitely the amount of physical activity has drastically reduced. It will cause a definite impact on the health. Definitely, no doubt about that. You are spending more time on the internet, you are spending more time on your TV, your screen time has increased drastically. Definitely it is going to make an impact on that. But the positive things are, you are not going out, you are not getting many infections. I will say from my own example. Me and my wife both of us are doctors. When we come home after seeing all these patients and all, during that time, at least 1 year back, every now and then, at least once in 3 months at least, my children might be getting some sort of infection. For the last 1 year, I must say that this corona actually brought a lot of new habits in us, like washing our hands often, using sanitizers and what. Maybe that might be the reason that my children was not getting so many number of fever infections and all. So there are positive as well as negative. Definitely over a long time, if it is going for a long time, it will have its own impact. But who is going to say that what is our point? How can we stop that? The only thing we can do is we try to survive that. Only then we can evaluate. If there is a big loss, we have to adjust accordingly to make it a gain. That is the only point we can do. Right.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. This is Sangeeta Kishore from Trish British Naharkoil. Sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, sure.
Okay, sir. First, I'm a business teacher, and I could see this pandemic situation rather than affecting from this COVID-19 disease. By reading some articles, it seems like it's framing a business behind this COVID-19. Okay, that is what the point which I had in mind. And we all talk about safety, stay at home, and follow some safety regulations, all these things. I need an answer from you, doctor. Apart from a psychiatrist, you are a doctor. Tell me, really we want to scare about this situation, or we want to move on? What if it happens, let me go. That is what we are doing. When we go out, we are not seeing people are really scared about what is corona, what is COVID-19. It was there, but it is not now. People are very casual and very normal. There is no social distancing. There is no wearing a mask. as you said, we are not often washing our hands, we are not sanitized. Are we really want to scare about this situation, or we can move on, sir? That is my first question. And then the second one, about the students and the teachers relationship. The first thing, when the normal schooling, the parents or the listener to the teachers, they will ask us how our students are performing, how our students are studying, are they good at class? That is what the parents will ask us. But now the scenario has changed. We are asking them, ma'am, are your kid is studying in the home? Are you doing their work? All these things we are asking. We are at the position of listener now. So initially, when the pandemic has started, everything is new to everyone. Almost we are used to it over 6 months. They are also pressurized from our side. We are also pressurized. So what can be the tips? We as a matured people, we come across lots of situations, we can move on. But they are the younger buds. They have to grow. So what tips we can give them to motivate them to learn and perform in their exams to do well? Clear my 2 questions, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. About your first question, that's a real question. It was there since the corona issue has started. Is the real corona really a dangerous thing? I must say that coronavirus infection is not that lethal. The lethality of an infection is said if an infection or an infective agent causes the death of a person. For example, you might have heard about the Nipah viral infection. The lethality of Nipah virus was very much higher. It was around 80 to 90%, which means that if 100 people contracted Nipah virus infection, at least 80 to 90% have a high chance to die. In case of coronavirus infection, it was much lesser. It was said to be between less than or around 10%. So which means that of the 100 people who have contracted the infection, very few are going to die. Means definitely there is a chance for death, but the number of people dying might be much lesser when compared to other lethal diseases like Nipah viral infection. So the point was, but we were able to take Nipah viral infection for among very few people. That is the difference. Corona is a very contagious illness, very contagious viral particle. It can spread very easily. How is it spreading? It can even remain in the surfaces for some more time than the usual viruses. For example, there are certain time limits which was prescribed for coronavirus. I don't know that. But the point is, it can remain for a more time than the usual other viruses. So that if at all during that time, if it came into contact with any other living being, it can incite an infection in that person also. So the possibility for getting infectious is very much higher with corona than any other infections which were recently seen. The point is, if we are saying about 100 people and that, but the infection, if it is spreading like in lakhs and crores, then the chance for death rate is also higher, and the percentage and the number of persons dying is also increasing. So that is the main point responsible for the panic. This is the real reason why lockdowns were imposed, because it's not a scare. In a big nation like India with 138 million crore population, the 10% itself is accounting for about 13 and odd crore population, which is a huge amount. No? You can remember, 13 crore might not be the population of New Zealand or Australia. So that much amount of persons are dying means it's a huge loss. So in such a case, what can a person, what can a government do? The best thing might be the way our government, I'm not supporting any government, I'm saying that it is the way to at least restrict the people. And meanwhile, during that week, people were educated in such a way how we can protect ourselves. How can we, if we start doing for job, how are we able to maintain ourselves healthy? What are the possible ways by which corona? That is educating about corona. That was done during the initial period. Even if we call a phone, we make a phone call, we might be hearing about the coronavirus infection and calls. Those were still. So the amount of effort put on it was huge in order to make common man aware that such a thing is spreading, and if it was not recognized, it might have gone to that level. You can see the population of China, US. The population of US is only 1/5 of Indian population, but the number of deaths still you can see that it is almost around double that of Indian deaths. So if there was no lockdown here, we might have crossed US by miles by today. So it is not that. So it's not making scare or people, governments or other agencies trying to make a panic. But if they were also saying that 90 people might be saved, but who knows who is going to die? That is the point. These all statistics are all based on data which are available. We cannot predict. Even if I can belong to the either group, I can be in the 90% group or also in the 10%. So only thing we can do is protect ourselves. So that is why the first the scare definitely helped us to educate. Scare definitely had worked in other ways also. It had brought a lot of negative effects also. I'm not blinking my eye to that side. It has its deleterious effects also. But so as of now, the most important thing which should be done by any government was to provide good education about corona, which was done by our government. So that was the first question. Second thing, as you said, the parent-child interaction and the parent-teacher, the children and teacher interaction definitely has its merits, and it should not be nullified at any source. But we don't have a choice. It's our issue. This corona is actually making all this trouble. It's not any single person or any people we are not making. So we have to adjust. We know that this is not going to do fine, but that's what I said. The best solution might not be available, but the best possible solution, we should be searching for that. And I think it can be interpreted in both ways, both as positive and negative. But I am saying that it has got a lot of positive. Staying alive, I think it might be the best possible. So that's my answer. Thank you. I think I have answered your both questions.
Sir, how can I help my students to come out of these kind of pressures? How can give some tips to the students?
Coronavirus infection and the lockdown, everything is a big scenario, big situation. It is a real stressor. Leave the corona part. See it as a big stressor in your life. So how are we going to deal with the stressor? That is my point. How do we address the stress? If first we should know that what is the real troublemaker in that. We have to understand what is the real problem in that. It is a learning experience. If we are able to survive this corona, at least for the next few years, we might be able to solve many such issues like that. Similarly, you can instill confidence in your students by saying that you learn from this experience. You learn how you can utilize your time by sitting in your home itself, and how you can learn new things, like not only studies, book and other things. You can learn a lot of things, extracurricular activities like music, academic, dancing, everything is available online, and there is a lot of time for all those things. So you should make your children make use of their time so that they gain a good experience out of this, so that they gain confidence from this. That's right. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, Dr. Prabhas. Good evening, Dr. Prabhas. Dr. Prabhas, good evening.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, this is Kavita Ishwaran. I represent both Shalom Residential Public School and TRIS as a kindergarten teacher. Doctor, my query is basically two queries I have. Okay, one is in the physically when the children attend a school classroom situation, the peer influence is very high.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. I
Yes.
cannot hear you properly.
Okay, now am I audible, sir?
Yeah, okay, fine. Go on.
Yeah. See, in a classroom situation, a child is very much influenced by the peers, right? The friends influence him, whether it is in studying, there is a competitive spirit, whatever we name it. And here, the children feel totally isolated because it's only on the screen that they see each other. There is no communication happening. It is the communication happens basically between the teacher and the student, and not between the peers of the class. So, don't you think there is a socializing issues which may pop up in the future generation? That's number one. Number two, the malpractices which happens during an assessment. Would it not be influencing the future generation again? Here there is an opportunity for malpractice which is very high, comparatively very high, because they say that the connectivity issues are there, they switch off the video. So all these issues popping up in a classroom, virtual classroom. So basically, one, the socializing skills of the children are getting affected. Number two, the chance for a malpractice is getting affected. So the honesty factor of a child in future generation may get affected very worstly. So what as teachers can we do to stop all these issues from popping up in a massive way?
Very valid questions, ma'am. The first thing about the socializing issue, definitely that definitely is I'm saying that I'm not an advocate of Corona situation. I'm just trying to find the solution like all of them. This problem was there always. How about the socializing skills, whether the children will lose their such sort of things and all. But definitely, we don't have an option right now. That's my first option. But do you think that children might be socializing only through the classroom? No, ma'am. It's not right. I'm saying that there are lots of new techniques. I mean, I'm saying about internet, the opportunities, the wider ways. It was provided by the internet. I mean, people do chat a lot, do talk a lot through internet. When I was doing my school, there was no mobile. So once I came back, once I reached back to my home, I cannot speak to my classmates or anyone. If there is a doubt, I will be asking the doubt in the next day. What can I do? I did nothing. I was brought in that way until the mobiles came to the scene. So over this period, I mean, over the last 20 years, maybe Reliance had made the mobile this much socialized. I mean, it's made available for everyone. Only after that, even after coming to the home, children started calling the friends, asking doubts and all. This was not new for me. I mean, I never had such an opportunity. So, with time, newer things will be coming. It's not like only thing was available and it was lost, so the world is gone. Nothing like that. If one opportunity is closed, there are lots of other opportunities. There might be newer ways which might be coming up. I don't know what people might be doing, what students might be thinking about, but I think older children, at least they do continue to make contact with their friends and students, at least for the right things, not saying about chatting with a girl or making friends and girlfriends, those sort of things. Definitely that might have decreased a lot, but if they have got doubts and they might be calling, and I don't think parents or anybody might be trying to stop that. Maybe in such a situation when the mobile or internet is not available, definitely there might be such problems. But I don't think that is compared to the huge population, that will be a smaller population. And definitely in such a case, people definitely will start thinking about other options. Might not be prominent during this days, but if it is continuing for some more time, definitely those things will come up. That is my first thing. Second thing about the malpractices and all about those things. Madam, do you think that even now there is no malpractices going on? When you,
So that is why I said comparatively the malpractices can be more in this current scenario.
Definitely, that is one possibility. But I will tell you one thing: the children studying in convent schools and this English medium schools and in our society, good schools, they have all those things within them, but they don't have the opportunity to take it out. So what happens is, if they get an opportunity, most of the time it might be after the classes or after going out of the school, they start doing all these wrong things. It doesn't mean that they are all good. Those children who had the opportunities even prior to that, like the government school students and all, they were experiencing that even during their growing period. So they don't find it anything new. So everywhere those things are there. Only thing is that we might be seeing it more often. We might be assuming that the children are not doing wrong things. But if there is a right thing, there might be a wrong thing. And children.
Hello, sir.
Also had their own ways to have a period of time in their life. Everybody, but I don't think by 20 years deal all the negative things and have a best positive only behavior. I don't think so. So it might be there every time. Anyway, my point is, if you work hard, you can find out their techniques of doing malpractices and you can try to curb it. Other than that, I don't have a real good answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhas. Thank you very much.
Sir, good evening, sir. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, sir, my name is Vishnu, and I am the IT faculty from the Rajas International School, Kottayam. So I have a question. So some of my friends or some parents at least, they have shared a concern that students are using more mobiles nowadays due to the class and all. Now some of the students, some of the children have a reason to use the mobile. They have many works to do, so they have a reason to use the mobile more time. And at least some of the children become very arrogant or they are behaving very arrogant to the family members. Some of the parents have shared or some relatives have shared this concern. So what are the tips you can give to those parents? At least some parents will be watching this video. So what are the tips you can give to these parents, sir? Could you please share?
So this problem is a very common thing being seen nowadays. Internet addiction or the screen addiction. And we don't have a choice to take our mobiles or screens away from them. My children, two of my kids, both of them are watching most of the time mobiles, internet, everything. I don't have a choice if I take it away from them, what can I provide to suffice that time? That is my question. If you are able to, if you say that internet is not good for you, you provide strict restrictions, definitely it is a very good thing. I must say that it is a very good thing. But in such a case, the children should be provided with adequate amount of refreshments, in the form of games or other ways to spend their time fruitfully. Otherwise, they get so much depressed, so much irritated and all. Naturally, this can have, even if it is given for more time, I mean, for example, if the child develops internet addiction sort of thing, means he spends most of his time in front of the screen, and whenever it is being taken away from him, he feels like isolated, secluded, lonely, those things. And if it qualifies for depressive features and all, it is considered as internet addiction. In such that is a real problem. In such I must say that addiction is not a good thing at all. There should be always a control, and children per se are not able to provide or make a control on themselves. So always a supervision is needed, but the supervision should be, I'm not saying as a rule, this as a rule, but it depends upon how much supervision you are providing. It should not be like a punitive type of way, like you are totally controlling the child, but it should not be also like totally leaving the thing to the kids. There should be a balance between them, and providing the right balance is actually a skill. And I'm not saying that I'm a very good best parent, but we all learn all these things through our lives, through our ways of through our experiences. Anyway, we might need to strike a balance between providing internet and other forms of energizing or refreshments which the child might be interested to spend time on. Many of the time they might not be able to go out or play with their friends. Definitely during this situation it is not at all possible. So child might be staying inside the home also. So there is high chance for developing these sort of problems. But if those who are staying at home with them, like the parents or grandparents, they should be entitled for making the kids engage with some sort of useful jobs or useful ways, not only studying but doing other household activities which involves some exercises, physical activities also, so that the kid gets adequate exercise also. That should be the way this thing should be handled.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And we had good time together. I feel privileged to thank our CEO Kuriakose sir for bringing the right person for today's Pulse address. Now I call upon our CEO for concluding remarks. Sir, please. Sir Kuriakose sir, please.
Good evening, everyone. Before I give my concluding remarks, I would like to ask Anita Menon, Principal of Shalom Residential Public School, give a feedback.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Kuriakose sir, and all the teachers present here. And good evening, Dr. Prabhas. It was a very, it was a apt topic for the day, because we as teachers, we are facing a lot of constraints and challenges in today's scenario. So, but as you said, every challenge has to be converted into an opportunity, and that is what I also believe in. The positive side of this difficult situation is, the family bonding has increased. The family is together. So, though socially we are away from our neighbors and our relatives and all, but as a family, the family is together. Children are with their parents. Parents are spending quality time with the children. So that is one of the things which was lacking for so many years. The parents were busy in their own work. Children had their own work, and there was no connection between the parents and the children, and that had resulted in many complicated situations. So that has come to a normal stage now. And second thing is, they are cooking together, they are eating together. That is another very good, impact of COVID-19, because otherwise in Kerala and otherwise also, the culture of eating out had increased tremendously. So now that they are eating, they are cooking food and eating at home, and they are trying to increase their immunity and all. that is the best part of the positive side of COVID-19, I would say. And though real-time classes are not going on, virtual classes are helping the children to learn and grow and move ahead. So these are the positive sides of side as far as this situation is concerned. So I think look at the positive and move ahead. That's the only way. That's the only way ahead. That's what I feel. And your session was very useful. I have attended many of your sessions, and you always have many solid points to tell us about the psychiatric part and the social impact and everything. So thank you very much, Kuriakose sir, for this opportunity, and thank you, Dr. Prabhas, for this wonderful session.
Hey everyone, Dr. Prabhas of all schools. Somewhere that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. In fact, John F. Kennedy's father, who coined this, the tough has a different dimension now. Because I know there are teachers who are depressed, disillusioned, and demotivated due to parents' complaints. We always try to reach out to the parents and tell them that this is a new phase in their life, especially those who are actually above 50, like me, below 70. Okay. Now, you remember that they have a problem in unlearning. If I go to a class and use a virtual platform to communicate to students, I'll get a big 0. I'm a failure there. We all witnessed it during some of the sessions when I was trying to host this program. So I believe this has given some opportunities as well. We need to be tough in this situation. Don't lose heart. As rightly said by our guest speaker, the right attitude is very important. I am sure we have to move on. One small episode I would like to say here for the benefit of everybody. I was offered the post of CEO in Rajas International School somewhere near January or February this year by the chairman. But what happened is I was a bit reluctant. Then after joining, the whole family, my family was not happy the way I accepted the offer. So once I was driving back home from school, I was a bit sad, thinking that I, get diagnosed COVID positive, then I will be a carrier to my family. I was so sad that very day. But it's more than 6-7 months right now, and we need to move on. There may be obstacles in life, like what Robert Frost has rightly said. What is that? It's a lovely, dark and deep. I promise us to keep and miles to go before I sleep. I do believe that all of us have a lot of miles to go. I thank Dr. Prabhas for this wonderful session. I hope we will be able to communicate with our parents also in future. Thank Jason. I thank Jason especially because he is the one who arranged this program. Thank you very much. God bless all of you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure being with you all today. And see you next time. Thank you.